Hello, I'm Toycat, and it's officially week 2 of the spring drop update cycle, and although we don't have any new features, we do have a feature which has come back from the dead after 4 years on Bedrock. It's one of everyone's most loved features, and in the reverse corner we have the Java edition losing one of the many-year-old bugs which has existed in the game forever. Parkour players are not happy about it, but what exactly has changed and why? Let's talk about that, as well as all of the fun hints that Minecraft have been dropping, and so consider subscribing if you want to stay up to date with the latest in Minecraft news. But first things first, let's talk about this big hint they dropped in the form of a meme. They said, "She's so crazy, love her," in reference to the girl with the chips on her head, and as you can see right here, it's Alex with some bundles on top of her, but then if you look in the background there, in the window, there is something that seems to be new in the background. What is this? Do you see a new mob? Do you see a new flower? Do you just see a person wearing iron armor for some reason? Exactly what it is yet to be known, but an update that clearly seems to be focused on small quality of life features. This is very exciting. We also had a hint via the WhatsApp group. As you'll all know, they've been posting emojis there all the time to hint at future features, and this one was just a waving emoji and a bow emoji, and there has been a lot of speculation about what this was meant to be, but as it turns out, Minecraft were just a little bit sneaky, because actually this was something cute coming to the marketplace. They've officially teased their Hello Kitty DLC. So there's 2 points to this. One is the fact that Minecraft have clearly realized that when they try to tease or announce marketplace content, it just doesn't drop as well as anything else, mostly because a lot of Minecraft players don't use the marketplace, and especially aren't going to be looking at Twitter content for it, and so that's a bit of a disappointment to try and use the idea of a future update to tease the Hello Kitty thing. But the other thing about this is that this is clearly a big brand collaboration, and so in reference to the leaks, in reference to the leaked roadmap, which claims that Minecraft is doing one big brand collaboration per quarter, this is our big brand collaboration for Q1 of 2024, and so if that leak roadmap was correct, we shouldn't expect to see another big one until at least April, and that is going to be a very interesting thing to follow. But for now, just know that Minecraft accidentally tried to hint a little bit too hard at something, and I think they disappointed a large number of their community, which is at least slightly disappointing. Speaking of slightly disappointing, do you really think we're about to get a Birch Forest update and get everything in the concept art and a little bit more? And what version would that be? 1.20, 1.5, or 1.22? So I think I've come to the conclusion now that the spring drop, the update with all of the new pigs and all of the new leaf litters, etc., that is going to definitely be a subversion update, and whether it should be or not is definitely a different question, but for now it would be 1.20, 1.5, and even though we're on 1.20, 1.50 for Bedrock right now, it's going to be 1.20, 1.70, and you know what, and by the way, I think it's definitely going to include some more features from that Birch Forest concept art. Minecraft clearly want to add more ambience to the game, and although I think it's great to speculate about new cow variants or whatever else, I think that these weird mushroom pods they showed in this original Birch Forest concept art are very, very likely. But do you know what's going to happen in that update in between 1.20, 1.50, where we are now, and 1.20, 1.70, the spring drop? Well, I think I do know, because Minecraft have been working very hard, and so the latest beta and preview haven't added all of the Java snapshot features into the Bedrock beta yet, but they have introduced a whole bunch of fun new parity changes, including bringing back everyone's favorite, something that I thought was just deliberately removed in the Caves and Cliffs update, but apparently it was a bug, because ravines have made a return. Here is a seed from Chris, as you'll know, works on the Ultimate Guide, and it is a double blacksmith village seed with a ravine going through the middle. This is such a classic 2018 style Minecraft seed, and they'll officially be possible in the beta and preview, and therefore when 1.20, 1.60 comes out, we're actually imagining in the next 2 to 3 weeks, by the way. I think this might have been the last beta, but when that comes out, that is going to be absolutely bonkers, and I am so excited for it. You better believe that as Bedrock players, we're very excited about this, because the inverse is obviously what's happened to Java, and this is, I know, it feels like we're in opposite land. Bedrock gets a good feature added via parity, and Java gets a negative feature for basically the same reason. So in the latest snapshot, week 2, they didn't really add many new features to the spring drop. Again, I would expect that in the next one, where I'll actually be back in the UK, because I picked the worst timed holiday in the world apparently, but when I'm back in the UK, it'll be exciting because I can talk about what they're adding then. However, in this last snapshot, they fixed 2 bugs, MC241065 and MC241951, and if you look at these and you say, huh, why is that a big deal that they fixed these? Well, basically, sneaking diagonally was not corrected in Minecraft movement, so you'd basically get the full speed of moving forwards and the full speed of moving sideways. This is something they've decided to fix, which effectively means that now you sneak in Java 41% slower than you could before. Even crazier is the fact that even if you're not sneaking, there was a slight error in the movement calculations, which would give you a 2% movement speed buff while going diagonally. This meant that all sorts sorts of parkour players would do crazy things involving, I believe it's called the 45 strafe, where you do all sorts of fun movements and take advantage of that 2% speed buff, and indeed, you can do it even much faster while sneaking, but all of that has been made impossible now, and that is where the debate has come in. A lot of the Minecraft community are not happy because this is a change that most people won't notice. Most people won't notice that their player isn't going 2% faster, but if you're deep in the parkour community, they've just taken something away from you. And herein lies the big issue, right? Minecraft eventually, once a bug exists in the game for long enough, it becomes a feature insofar as it will only ever hurt people's lives when you fix it, and that is why if you don't get on top of bugs fast enough, it eventually becomes expected, and so there are lots of memes hating on this change, and I have to say, like, it's clearly a bug that they are fixing. It sounds like a good thing on the surface, but then when you look at the reality, it's purely negative. And I'd like to say, this is a moment for my Java comrades who are watching this and saying, yeah, Toycat, you get it, you understand, they're removing something that we thought was good, even though it's technically a bug, and this is what they've been doing in the name of parity on Bedrock for a very long time. So if you're a Java player who's been hearing about parity and thinking, those silly, whiny Bedrock players, why do they care when they get major features removed just so it looks more like Java? This is effectively what's happening here, and I think that it's a sign that Mojang does need to say, if a bug is over a certain amount of years old, you know, if it didn't come from, I think that anything that goes past 3 years, you have to really be cautious about fixing it or not. I think that that puts Mojang in a very uncomfortable situation when it comes to bugs like this, but that's why I think consulting the community is important, and if you can't find that many compelling reasons to remove it, but you can find a lot of compelling reasons to keep it, I think that's a sign that maybe the latter makes more sense, and so that's what I hope Mojang are going to do in this case. And speaking of things I'd hope Mojang will be doing, I have a interesting response from Fazbro Gaming to my realism add-on that I showed off this week, and they said, what's the point though? These add-ons are great, but the fact that they disable achievements kind of ruins it a bit. I hope this changes in a future update. And I'd like to just quickly go on record here and say, yeah, actually, Minecraft add-ons disabling your achievements is something that really sucks because it removes a lot of people's willingness to use them. Same time, I think it's a bit of an issue of the current system of add-ons and all of the other things like that, because right now, you can balance them however you want. You can have the crazy OP add-ons as people do have right now, and there's only really two solutions. One is to say that every add-on can have achievements, but every add-on also has to follow a certain amount of game balance, let's say. I think this is a reasonable request, and personally, I love the idea of doing that, but also some people do want to play with those super OP add-ons, and so instead you should just have, okay, there is a toggle, unless you go for a special review with the Microsoft team. You know, they do a lot of certifications it is, so they already know exactly what's in your add-on, and if it's what you say it is, that team should also be able to make an objective measure as to whether this should disable achievements or not. Personally, as you'll know, a little bit of an update by the way, as you'll know, I recently worked on an add-on. We have a whole add-on team at IBX Toymaps now, and so one of the fun things is that the very first add-on we're releasing is going to be one that exclusively makes your Minecraft life harder. It will only ever add challenges to the game, and I guess you could argue some mild rewards in exchange for doing that, because personally that's the sort of Minecraft I love, right? And so this is an add-on that makes your life harder, but yet you don't get achievements, even though all it does is make it harder, because there are add-ons out there that are like, yeah, what if we gave you diamonds when you spawned or whatever? I think that that's a little bit of an injustice personally, but I guess that's just my own personal thought. By the way, my other thought that I've kind of evolved on is, so Western86568 says, for $8, I think this add-on still needs to be improved. The dynamic lighting is glitchy, annoying, there's all sorts of bugs, etc. But what's interesting to me is, I thought that as a community, we would like have a firm line and say, yeah, there is a cap for what we're going to pay for an add-on or for a texture pack or a world or whatever, and I figured that around 1,000 Minecoins was pretty decent as that marker. Like, that's when it gets really expensive in vibe terms, but as it turns out, yeah, people are just willing to spend $10 for actions and stuff in such a large quantity that I think I'm wrong. I think I'm being the boomer on this one, and I just wanted to share my personal evolution on that one, that clearly, you know, there is no cap to what people are willing to pay if they are excited for something. Even if something was previously going to be free just a couple of months ago, people are willing to pay for the convenience of having it in Bedrock. It's useful to know for the sake of reviews, even though it's very surprising to me. But yeah, if you are curious when it comes to the team add-on, the one that we're making Minecraft harder with. It's going to be a very, very interesting add-on if you do like a challenge, and also it will cost less than 1,000 Minecoins, even though apparently people would be happy to pay more, because that's my personal stance on this one. Speaking of personal stance, I want to go into the leaked roadmap, because a lot of people had interesting responses to this, and the biggest one was this: I'm not buying this leak. Obviously, if that roadmap image is meant to be some secret thing in the office to show investors or developers information, it has literally nothing on it other than things that we, the public, already knew were happening. And I actually disagree with this. We had no idea Spicewood was happening, especially not in Q2 of 2026. So that could be a very big leak. We also didn't know for sure that Minecraft were doing one update every 3 months. But I do agree with your point that these are very safe guesses. The most interesting thing about this leaked roadmap is how there's a real chance that it's 80% true without ever having anyone at Mojang ever have anything to do with it, because all they have to do is make the most likely predictions. But then you ask the question of why would someone want to leak information that's vaguely true and doesn't make any bold predictions anyway? And I think this is where we get into the most likely explanation. Either this is someone who just really loves attention, or this actually has a real chance of being right. I want to be very clear here that I am the skeptical person here on YouTube. When most people are saying, oh look, this is definitely a leak because there's a guy who's saying it's true and he's got nothing to... I am someone who is like, let's look at the past and use that to determine the future, right? This is the logical way you should view history in the future. And I think that right now we have nothing that says this is definitely true, but if we keep seeing it be correct, then this is going to be a very, very interesting leak to come back to. However, there are some questions about some valid ones, like we get here from the FGV Cosmic 6752, who says, yeah, why would a brand collaboration this quarter not be, or be unnamed in this particular case? And I think you could still just about explain that by saying, well, yeah, it's from a business development team who don't care what the brand collaborations are. They're just trying to make sure there's regular releases for Minecraft. But then who is that team, and why would someone on that team be so excited to leak it? We've got lots of questions and not that many answers. And speaking of not that many answers, I want to go into another response we got from the new UI. If you haven't seen it already, this is insane. We had it confirmed that this was a leaked prototype for the next UI design. It's actually not leaked, it's found in the game file, so data mined might be more correct. But as you can see, the new inventory looks incredible. The way the new hotbar, I should say, the new shulker box is my personal favorite, but the chest and the barrel and everything else looks great too. And so the big question though from Websby is no code for the inventory update, just UIs. You missed, Mojang. And this is a really common thing when people look at the new Ore UI. It's taking them years to make a new user interface, but it's not actually adding anything new. And I saw a really fun post recently which compared when Minecraft's inventory was finalized at its current 3 rows plus 1 row, the number of items in the game was so small compared to where we are now that if you were to scale up the inventory for the modern day, this is how big it would have to be the same equivalent size. Obviously that's a little bit ridiculous, and obviously we have bundles and shulker boxes to help us, but I just thought, you know, that's kind of fun, and it gets you thinking. And you know what gets me thinking? The fact that I'll finally be home for next week's snapshots and previews. I am so excited to see where they take this spring drop, and I also am curious about the scale. Are they going to be making substantial new mob variants? Are they mostly focusing on the natural world? I have lots of questions, but it seems as though I'll be getting lots of answers, but next Wednesday. Oh, and before we go, now seems like a good time to remind you that becoming a channel member not only gets you access to all of the fun member-only videos, including those weird half parts of the Let's Play, but also you'll get access to a brand new video of me playing Infinite Craft this weekend. So check it out if you'd like to. And also, oh, look at the tiny bird behind you. Look at that bird. Sorry, I think this was meant to be about the end of the video here. So as you stare at this bird, let me tell you that there is also now a good time to mention that I will be back for next week's snapshot, and I'm very excited to see where they take this spring drop, and we'll actually be able to cover it on the channel starting next week. With that said, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you're looking forward to our first stream back. Obviously going to be a dicey one in some ways, but after that we can get back into the Nomad and into the Igloo runs, 2 very fun little hardcore challenges I've been diving into. Otherwise though, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.